Like that last at bat, you were a double shot cycle. Were you thinking about it, or is that something that comes to your mind when you're at the plate up there?
I knew before the at bat that I was a double away. Once I stepped in the box, though, just sticking with my approach I had the whole game, which was trying to see the ball deep and just get a good swing on it, not trying to do too much. I knew that with the approach, if I could hit a single, I could hit, whatever would have happened could have happened. But I wasn't trying to hit a double. No, but I was aware. Yes, of course.
Before this, your recent stretch where you really picked it up at the plate, did you have like what was your sense of urgency like? Did you think that you were going to be, there's a chance you'd get pulled from your spot to starting lineup, or was that something you had to worry about? Like what was your mindset going into this hot streak about? Hey, maybe I need to pick it up. What was your thought process?
My thought process was, I expect a lot out of myself. I came here to do as good as I can, and when you're not playing to your full potential, it's tough. Um, as far as a spot, I mean, like have as you guys have seen, coaches stuck with me. You know what I mean? So I was never really worried about losing a spot or whatever, or just I just show up every day and put in the work, and I trust that the rest will take care of itself. But yeah, baseball's a crazy sport, man. Like, um, it's just there's a lot of ups and downs, and you got to try to stay even throughout. Because like you guys look at my weekend, and they just told me 5 for 11 or whatever. It sounds all great. What about yesterday when I was 0 for 5? You know what I mean? How do you think I went home feeling after that? So this game is crazy. Like, there's ups, there's downs, but just try to stay even. So in terms of my mental, I was just sticking with it. I wasn't like, oh, I gotta go or he's gonna pull me. I was just stay the course, and I trust myself because I've been through this before. My junior year at St. My last full season of college baseball, my junior year, you look back and it says, oh, he hit 380 or whatever. He did this, that, and the other thing. But what you don't see is I was hitting 180 through the first month and a half. You know what I mean? Those are things you don't see. So it's nothing that I haven't dealt with before. But so my mindset was just stick with it. Really, that was it. Stick with it, and keep putting in the work, and it'll happen.
John, hi, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, can you describe what it's like going through a 13-game winning streak, and what are you guys doing that's so right now?
I think, well, I mean, it's great. It's great that we've been winning. It feels like when we step on the field, it always feels like we're going to win the game. So I would think that's the thing that we're really doing right, is that we're all expecting to win. We all have that winning feeling. Like the last dozen games, we haven't ever, even if we were losing, we've never felt like we had our backs against the wall. We've always felt like we're in the driver's seat, and we're dictating the pace, and it's our game, and they're just playing with it. Besides that, this team gets to work every day. I mean, game starts at 1 o'clock today. We were in here at 8 o'clock in the morning with the coaches. They're throwing batting practice. I mean, these guys don't have to do that, but they do. So just the hard work, and it really pays off. We really are all bought into the same ideas of, whether it be hitting or defense or pitching. That's a different section, but, we're all really bought into the same types of deals, and we just try to execute it when it comes game time. And that is all working for us.
Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
I'm good.
Okay. Danny Davis, go ahead.
Mike, you guys are about to head into a little bit more of a backloaded part of your schedule with, Oklahoma State, TCU, Tech, all ranked. How confident is this team as you guys get to a tougher part of your schedule?
We're definitely confident, but I wouldn't say we overlook anybody. You know what I mean? Even Texas State on Tuesday, we want to go there and we want to dominate them as well. But like you said, we're getting into the heart of it. It's going to be probably our toughest few weekends. The team's confident, but I wouldn't say we're cocky. Like, we know that we got to show up and play. Even Abilene Christian, you don't show up and play, they'll beat you. So it's just, we got to stay with it, and yeah, that's about it.
What would you credit, 1 through 9, 1 through 10, if you want to count DJ in there? What would you credit that, this running offense? David's talked a lot about, the work ethic, and you guys get into the cage early, as you talked about early. Is it as simple as that, just the work you guys are putting in?
It can be as simple as that, but with that, like I was saying earlier, we're all bought into the same ideas. As a team, we're all trying to basically do the same thing, which is we're trying to back the baseball up. We're not trying to get fooled out in front. We're not trying to do too much, and when everybody buys into the same idea, you tend to have success. So I would credit it to that.
Last one, Dustin, go ahead.
Mike, you've mentioned a lot about the work, and it's something that you've talked about, coaches talked about, your teammates have talked about. It doesn't seem like this group is ever satisfied. How unique is that? You've been around baseball a long time. You've been a part of a lot of teams. Like, how unique is this group from that perspective that, hey, even though we've won 12 straight games, we're here at 8 a.m. for a Sunday game against Abilene Christian?
I would say it's a special thing. You know what I mean? You'll see a guy have a great game and still be showing up early the next morning, or on the flip side, you have a bad game, still showing up the next morning. So I would say it's been very consistent. Unique, I mean, that's what great players do. Great players are gonna, no matter whether they're doing great or doing poorly, they're gonna show up every day and they're gonna put in the work. But I would say as a group, it's definitely a special thing that, this lineup and this team shows up every day and gets after it. So that's why you guys are seeing the winning streak and all the success. It's all the behind the scenes. And then once we get out on that field, we compete and the game comes easier when you put all that time in.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Accent going.
You want to start it off with a few comments and we'll go to some questions?
Yeah, I just thought we played a complete game, another complete game, and I really appreciate their effort and how they're approaching every single day. Great defense. I thought the play that Zub made was huge. That's probably one of the toughest double play turns that you have when you go 3-6-1, and he did a nice job. What I loved about it is zero hesitation, but making routine plays, making an occasional great play, really sound offensively in our approach. And, I think Kobe has to get sharper for sure, but he finds a way to win. He finds a way to continue making pitches when he needs to. So we got to quit living on the edge, but at the same time, we take the W and move on.
Thanks, Coach. John, start us off.
Coach, just talking to Mike, he was saying that he feels like the guys are confident but not cocky. Do you get that sense from them the way they're playing right now, and do you want them to be a little cocky?
I think there is we talk about this, and I definitely believe they're confident as a team. I think some guys struggle in and out, but a good team is going to pick each other up. There's so many times there, 3 or 4 guys, maybe up to 5 guys in the lineup get hot. What I've enjoyed is not seeing anybody feel sorry for themselves when they've struggled, and being able to work out of those potential slumps fairly quickly. So the confidence is good. I think there's a team attitude, and I don't like the word arrogance. I like the word maybe an ego as a team, as opposed to individual egos. I like where we are as a group, though.
Danny Davis, go ahead.
David, Cam, was he pulled for precautionary reasons, or is there a concern there?
Well, I scored him from second, and I didn't. Zubia scored him from second, and I helped him along in inning, but he was limping a little bit, so I noticed it. By the time I got the dugout, Tulo had told me that it wasn't nothing serious, but with the score and the way everything was happening with 3 outs to play, it made sense to just sit him and put Murph in.
And then, you've talked a lot about this. Mike just talked about in his presser, just kind of that work ethic and the guys showing up at 8 o'clock or 8:30, whenever it was. Do you ever have to, be concerned that they're doing too much? Do you ever want to tell them to, rein it in and, relax a little bit? Or is this how this group is going to be this season?
I think there's some relaxation during their work. And I think that's the key, is understanding what work is when you're talking about baseball. It's not just full blow 100 swings and extra sprint work and go pound the weight room. It's about being around the cage and listening. If you're a little beat up on a Sunday morning, split your reps in half. But I think the camaraderie of our team being together and just having some laughs as they're putting their time in, maybe paying attention to a guy that's getting some instruction. It's an accumulation versus just grinding it out all the time. Today I took all the catchers out of their extra period just to rest them. I said, go to your secondary position. So Cy and Powell are catching ground balls at third base. They need to laugh a little bit too within their work. We spend a lot of time together and there's a lot of dead time. So we want to make sure that they're also taking care of their bodies as they're putting their time in. And that, like I think I've told y'all before, it's really my job to help control that. If we need to cut back reps on our BP work or our fungo work, that's what we need to do.
Justin, go ahead.
David, obviously you guys still have a lot of games left. All your goals are still out in front of you. But for you personally, how much fun are you having with this group?
Man, I woke up at 4:30 this morning making notes. At 6 o'clock, I was finishing the game from yesterday. At 8:30, I was in the clubhouse. And it's just an adrenaline rush right now. You don't want to leave anything out. You want to make sure that you're there for them. You want to make sure that that you're giving them everything you have because they are doing the same thing. And it's a very unique situation right now. I said it at the beginning of the year that this team is different. And I also said I had no idea how many games we're going to win. But every single day, if we continue to do what we're doing, I like our chances. And I'm having a blast.
Joe Cook, go ahead.
David, Mike told us that when he was at St. John's, the year he hit like 340 something, he said he started out and had a really bad first month of the season. So what was your process like letting him hit through that, knowing that you had a mature guy who's seen a lot of baseball and would approach it the right way and just hope that the process would eventually lead into some results?
Well, I mean, I think we've played a very difficult schedule early on, especially when he did struggle. I really feel like he had to make some adjustments to that. And then when you start slowly in that kind of environment, you got to have the mental toughness and the ability to not let it beat you down. There's a difference between frustration and playing with the little edge. And I think there's a fine line. And so I thought he did a really mature job of just continuing to, I know we keep saying this, but continuing to listen, continuing to work. I mean, we were at Baylor talking about his footwork in the outfield. So, you know, it continues to evolve. I mean, this whole thing is still a process. We talked about this morning with pitchers about the elevated fastball and using the fastball in the inside corner because we can get a lot better. So I think as a team, if they can keep the attitude of, yeah, we're doing well, but there's plenty of room for improvement, I just like our chances.
Roger Wallace, go ahead.
David, how difficult is it by the pure nature of baseball, a hot pitcher, a pitcher that's struggling to rattle off 13 straight wins with the competition you're playing?
I don't care if you're playing Our Lady of the Foul Line. It doesn't matter. To win 13 straight is tough to do. As you guys know, in our sport, anything can happen. The best team doesn't always win. If you got a guy that pitches really well like Cervantes yesterday, I thought he pitched a great game. They made all the routine plays. We had some weather conditions. We just found a way to win the game because we didn't panic. We didn't feel like we were playing a team that was inferior to us. We were in competition. And so that was nice to see. I'm glad we've had some really tough games in this stretch as well. But I think it's really tough. It's really tough for college students to get up every single day knowing that the other team has started getting their brains beat in. They're going to do everything possible to come at you.
Would you go home and home with Our Lady of Foul Line?
Heck yeah. if their RPI is good.
Jeff Howell, last one.
David, as you look ahead to the schedule, with some big conference series coming up and knowing the arms that you're going to need to get through those series, these non-conference games, which you got at guys like Gordon or even Wallbridge, those guys, have you got a handle on some guys that might have taken a step forward that you can depend on to get you through these last 4 or 5 midweek games that you got, knowing who you're going to need on the weekends?
Yeah, Drew Scheffler has done a nice job twice this weekend of making an adjustment in his delivery and getting him out there in competition. Gordon's coming, as we're all seeing. You're seeing some improvement with Noah, the young freshman left-hander. And then we have a veteran on the back end or potential eating up some innings with Coy Cobb if he can just continue to command his fastball and pitch off of his changeup. So, yeah, there's some bright spots. Like we said, I've had guys that didn't really contribute early in the year and became a big part of postseason play for us. And so that's what you want to do, is just continuing to work on your craft and see if you can get innings and build confidence and help the team.